committed suicide. Do you think the two were related?
I have no idea what the link is. There are people that think there's more to it than I know, and they've asked me to come and meet with them. I hate to say it, but it would give me great solace to think that this was at the hands of someone else, as opposed to my husband being in such despair that he took his own life.
Oh, so you think that there's a possibility that this could be a murder?
We're going to have to stop.
So having discovered him, what's your gut?
He was such a tough guy, and I find it really hard to believe that someone could convince him to do something he didn't want to do without a pretty significant fight.
A part of your book that really surprised me was that you talk about that Russell used to monitor you secretly. How did that happen?
I guess the first time I found recording devices, I was trying to print a document and it wasn't connecting. The computer and the printer had lost the connection. So I crawled under the desk and I looked up and I saw a recording device, a small tape recorder attached to the bottom of the desk. And I pulled it down and he had been recording me every day when he left for work.
Just all day long?
Because he knew I'd be in the office all day. And it, went on from there. I had housekeepers find recording devices. I had recording devices in my cars.
He actually had you take a lie detector test once to prove what?
I took a polygraph test after a few years of him accusing me of having relationships with people that I hadn't had relationships with. And finally, he kept saying, I'm going to make you take a lie detector. I'm going to make you take a lie. And finally, one day I just said, take me. And so we went and I took a lie.
And you passed, right?
100%. The questions were ridiculous.
And then what happened after you passed?
About a month later, he said, I'm convinced that you know how to cheat a polygraph. That or I paid off the examiner.
You also go into detail about how he went on the attack when he overheard you talking to someone who was offering you help. What happened there?
I was at my friend's house. They were planning their wedding, and I was sitting in their backyard with Russell. He went home, and I stayed to listen to the rest of the wedding planning because he wasn't interested. And apparently he was hiding in the bushes, and her fiance said, we're really concerned about you, and we just want you to know that as they were walking me out, if you need any help, we're here for you. We'll get you an apartment, whatever you need. And I said, just take care of Kennedy if anything happens. And sorry. He jumped out of the bushes, hit my friend's husband in the back of the head several times, grabbed me, threw me in the pool, held me under until I was almost drowning. And by that point, the friend had come to and was starting to, I think he threw him in first, and then he was starting to make his way out the end of the pool. So he let me go, threw my girlfriend in the pool, threw the dog in the pool, went and started fighting the guy. He ended up getting taken away in an ambulance, plastic surgery here, $10,000 in veneers.
So did your friend prosecute Russell for this?
No, because I asked them not to. And I asked them not to do anything because I was concerned about how Kennedy and I would survive.
Bennett from Green Bay said, Taylor, you claim that Camille exaggerated what you told her about Russell's abuse. How so?
It was not an exaggeration, I guess. What I meant was I said he dislocated my jaw. She said broke. And so Russell felt like that was like the perfect thing for him to go in and say, we can make him take it out of the show because she said broke and it was really just popped out of the socket.
I read in the book that your jaw was popped out of its socket and you popped it back in yourself?
Over a toilet.
Brandy, in your blog, you wrote, after my party in Malibu, I decided to stay away from the whole Taylor and Russell situation because nothing was adding up to me. What do you mean by that?
Just none of it makes sense to me. I guess I'm in the group that thinks that it's all doesn't make sense. It freaks me out as well because he can't defend himself, and I just feel like I don't even want to talk about it. Like, that's how I feel about the whole situation. So
We've discussed this. It just creeps us out altogether.
It creeps us
the whole
out.
thing because it's so horrific.
I'm sorry what I said about your book, but you said something about the me slashing tires.
I only said that after you said the book thing first.
No, it doesn't. I'm saying when someone bites, I bite back.
No, but
and
you said the book thing first.
I just said I was sorry.
Okay, but you said it first. So I'm sorry too.
I'm saying I'm sorry.
Kathy from Memphis said, Taylor, let me get this straight. Russell abused you and smashed your head, yet you stayed with him. But the moment you were going to get tossed out of your housewives circle because of Russell threatening a lawsuit, you finally moved out. What gives?
It has nothing to do with it. I had an MRI result when I found out that I had an orbital floor blowout, and I needed a craniofacial reconstructive surgeon and an orbital reconstructive surgeon to reconstruct my orbital floor, and I could have lost my eye. That's what made me leave. It had nothing to do with the housewives.
I know this has been really difficult to re-examine, and so...
You know what, though? It's important to me, Andy, because I have recognized now that I was living in a very unhealthy environment, and I drug a lot of my friends into it, and I have a lot of remorse for that, and I have remorse for my husband's death and remorse for letting my child live in a dangerous situation. And so now I'm just dusting myself off and hoping that people can forgive and forget, and people that don't like me haven't lived a day in my shoes.
Well, best of luck.
Thank you.